Well, thank you all for being here today on short notice. My name is Adam Freeman. I'm the Director of Media Relations here at USF. In just a moment, I'm going to introduce University of South Florida President Steve Corral, who will deliver some opening comments, and then we'll move to a brief question and answer period, both with President Corral. Also, our Provost and Executive Vice President Ralph Wilcox is here, and Donna Peterson, who's Dean of the College of Public Health and is also the chair of an internal task force that's been developed on this issue at USF. We also have several of our experts from USF Health here who can address any questions about medical or healthcare related issues. So that's the format, and I will turn it over now to President Corral.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, the health and wellness of our community is the #1 priority for this university, and this will be at the forefront of all of our decisions moving forward. We want to make clear that there are currently no known coronavirus cases within the USF community. We've been continuously working with state leaders and using federal government resources to provide the most up-to-date guidance to our community. Today, we're directed by the Florida Board of Governors to begin transitioning all of our classes to remote instruction for the next 2 weeks following spring break. That's March 23rd through at least April 5th. We will continue to monitor the situation for further guidance, of course. Students traveling for spring break next week should plan not to return to campus for at least 2 weeks following. Students who had not been planning to travel for spring break should make plans to return home if possible. Although students are encouraged to remain off campus during this time, residential students who wish to remain in their residence halls may do so. All classes and necessary support functions will continue remotely. USF has developed a myriad of online tools to ensure continuity of academic and student support services, including counseling, advising, tutoring, and other needs. Although classes are moving to remote delivery, many normal university operations will continue, including student health services, USF Health clinical operations, and university administration and staff functions. At this time, all university-sponsored events on campus and other university instructional sites or off-campus events scheduled within the next 30 days will be postponed or canceled. We will continue to provide updates on our website, and I'll just remind the group, this is an example of hand sanitizer, so please use it liberally and regularly. So we're now prepared for any questions that you might have. We just got some recent information on that, and Adam will share that with you.
Just one point of clarification there. While USF is the host school, the games are not scheduled to be held on this campus. Those are at Amalie Arena, but we did just get the guidance from the NCAA, and we're trying to fully understand what that means for the university moving forward, and we'll have some additional communication on that soon.
So starting tomorrow, will you guys be moving online, or when is that going to take place?
So our provost, Ralph Wilcox, will address questions about academic continuity and the instructional delivery that we have planned.
President, really quickly, any message to parents at this point? Are you watching this? Have you
We have a communication going out specifically for parents later today.
So. Anything you'd like to share with us? I mean, obviously,
well,
very proactive.
our priority is the safety and health of our students, and we're making decisions. We think very responsibly and methodically as we go through and make decisions about what will keep our students safe. And there's a lot of information coming in by not only by the hour, by the minute. And so we are following state guidelines, Centers for Disease Control guidelines, and trying to make informed decisions that will ensure that our students are safe.
So with regard to academic continuity, classes will continue as scheduled through the end of this week. Returning immediately after spring break, beginning March 23rd, all instruction on all campuses and at all instructional sites will be delivered remotely, and students will at the same time be provided remote access to any student support services needed in order to assure their continuing academic progress and academic success.
The online classes will start after spring break, correct? And then do we have a timeline of how long they'll be online, till April?
Well, yes, the directive from the Board of Governors at this point in time has asked us to prepare delivery of remote access for 2 weeks following spring break. Throughout that time, we fully anticipate that we will be assessing the situation, certainly ready to continue those courses remotely throughout the remainder of the spring semester. And I might just add that this isn't something that we've just been surprised with. We've had a team working night and day for several weeks now to provide a toolkit, an instructional continuity toolkit, to every one of our instructional professors to ensure that they have the tools, the technologies, the techniques, and the training necessary to move from face-to-face instruction to high-quality remote instruction.
It's going to be up to the professors whether they can log in on a different time, or will they take classes online as scheduled, or do they know how that'll work yet?
These are expected, for the most part, to be synchronous delivered classes, meaning whenever your class is scheduled, that's when you will log in as a student, and your professor should be there communicating with you. However, in some cases, professors may show some flexibility and provide assignments asynchronously, meaning that students can complete those assignments at their convenience, but in advance of a timeline or deadline set.
And professors will be communicating with students via email and letting them know what's happening.
They'll be communicating with students utilizing a range of media that the University of South Florida has identified and will support through the instructional continuity toolkit that we've provided all professors earlier this week.
How will finals be handled? Will it be online as well?
Well, I can tell you they will not be handled in a face-to-face environment if the practice continues beyond the 2 weeks, and we find ourselves at a time when finals are scheduled. Yes, it's going to be through remote communication, remote delivery, but we have pretty sophisticated technology that we've already been using to ensure integrity of academic performance.
How many guys don't have access to computers in their home? Would they be able to access through the library or through the research center on campus?
Yes, we're working on that at this moment in time, certainly trying to determine the scope of need there, and we will most assuredly do our utmost to provide both students and professors full access through online delivery.
A lot of students have expressed concerns about graduation. Is there anything you can say about this point about it being postponed?
President Corral?
We're reflecting further on that. We made no plans yet about whether or not to postpone or cancel graduation ceremonies. At the moment, we're just trying to comprehend, digest the information that's coming in, and we'll make informed decisions about that later on in the semester. We hope that these ceremonies and events can move forward, of course, because they're very important aspects of the USF community, but we're also going to make informed and responsible decisions about the health of our students and staff and faculty.
How many kids live in the residence halls on campus?
About 6,000.
And are you guys going to be doing anything for the kids who do choose to stay here on spring break and can't go home are they going to be asked to do anything differently? Are you guys going to be making changes to the residence halls, adding anything, more hand washing, anything like that?
Well, I think we'll continue, our intention is to continue practices that we've implemented of late. Precautions and reminding all of our students, and incidentally, these are not just students on the Tampa campus, but we also have students in residence halls in St. Petersburg as well, and there will be university-wide standards relative to precautions, monitoring, and we will, of course, be discouraging students who remain in the residence halls from getting together in large groups. The purpose is to maintain some social distance following spring break.
What's the plan to sanitize the rooms?
I wanted to mention that our decisions are benefited significantly from advice of our experts in USF Health. So we have a number of our leaders with us today. I'll ask Dr. Charlie Lockwood to comment briefly. Charlie is the Senior Vice President for USF Health and the Dean of the Morsani College of Medicine. And so, of course, we're very fortunate to have him and his colleagues advising us on medical issues and how we can promote sanitary conditions and avoid the virus.
Well, I can't speak specifically to what the housekeeper's protocols will be, but the virus can live on artificial surfaces for up to 9 days. So they'll be disinfected when as the students are leaving. That process is going on all over the campus anyways, so we'll continue. I think the key points for the students are that when they go home, they need to continue doing exactly what they're doing here. Frequent hand washing, most important thing. Wash your hands in warm water for 20 minutes, for 20 seconds. 20 minutes would be more thorough. And making sure that they get between the fingernails, avoiding people that are sick, and avoiding, particularly as if they're with elderly grandparents or folks over 85, making sure that they're not sick when they go to visit them.
President, what about the employees? I know that your concern is just as great for them as it is for the students. Any additional practices or health taking place, or pretty much same procedure?
Well, the comments we've been making are certainly apply to all our employees. We're also very mindful of the fact that our employees are crucial. Our staff and our faculty are the lifeblood of the university, and they're going to continue to be vital to the continued operation of of the university. So remember, we're just shifting our instruction to remote instruction. We're not closing, we're not stopping classes. So our faculty and staff will continue to do their jobs. We're also very mindful of the fact that our employees rely on the university for their salary and their benefits, and so we're very committed to trying to continue those and maintain that kind of continuity through this process. So we're balancing all of those considerations.
What are some measurements being taken by your staff in regards to international students for your support this time?
International students will continue to be provided the same level of support that they've grown accustomed to at the University of South Florida. As many of you know, we have approximately 5,000 students from 145 different countries, and they're an immensely important part of our USF community. We've already reached out to those students. We know that many of them are concerned about their families back home. For a couple of weeks now, we've been providing special outreach and support to those students. For those international students who are living on campus, they will, to the extent that they wish, continue to live on campus and provided, as I say, the same level of support that they've been accustomed to. And that's true of all of our students at the University of South Florida.
So just to be clear, you're asking students this coming Saturday to leave the campus through April 5th, beginning this Saturday?
For students who leave campus for spring break, we're instructing them to the extent possible to stay home. don't come back to campus. We will take education to you rather than you coming to us. For those students that elect to stay on campus through spring break, we will encourage them by the end of that week, next week, to return home if they're able to. If home for them is the University of South Florida, and they're not able to return to their home country or their home state or home county in the state of Florida, we will continue to accommodate and support them as valued members of the USF community.
For students who are early on face-to-face interaction, how would the transition be?
Well, it's going to take some creative leveraging or exploitation of technology to ensure that students can still meet in study groups, in other group environments outside of a single location. And certainly we know full well that that technology exists. It's already being utilized at the University of South Florida. Our challenge is to engage our students, engage our faculty in embracing that technology to continue delivery of a high quality education.
Was it students or faculty being placed on quarantine? Students or faculty being placed on quarantine?
So we have, with advice from the Florida Department of Health, asked a few members of our faculty and students who have returned from countries that the CDC has deemed at a level 3 or 4 or high risk to self-isolate for 2 weeks, and they are in contact with our student health services in the case of students, or USF Health in the case of the faculty. We monitor them every day, twice daily, to check on their health status, how they're feeling, how they're doing, and provide any support that we may. At this time, it's very few, just a few in number.
How many students do you have?
From international.
Yeah, under a dozen, I think.
Yeah. We're talking about a dozen. Give or take a little
Max. Very few.
Coronavirus hot zones have been.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, and to be clear, none of those are confirmed cases. Those
Correct.
are just following the
They've
routine
just been asked.
procedures coming back from
Right.
those countries,
Correct.
following that normal protocol.
I understand that there's you're on campus in the fall, and will that remain open? Because I understand that employee
Yeah, I think that's probably a conversation that we have to have with the local supervisor of elections office to make that determination. Anything else before we wrap up? Okay, thanks again for being here. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.